The insiders are dialed in with the trade deadline fast approaching, Chris Johnston, Pierre LeBrun, and Darren Dreger breaking it all down. Let's start with a fascinating situation. It's not often, this close to the deadline, that a two-time Stanley Cup champion captain, still highly productive, with 28 goals this season, could even be discussed as available. But is that the case with Steven Stamkos? Pierre LeBrun says, it's possible. Now, Stamkos holds a full no-move clause. He controls his fate. He's not asking out, and by all accounts, he's happy in Nashville. But his camp is preparing, just in case Predators management approaches him before next Friday and says, we've got serious offers. Stamkos and his representatives have quietly assembled a preferred destinations list. At the top, Tampa Bay. After that, Dallas and Minnesota. New Jersey is also believed to be in the mix to some degree. The Devils, remember, tried to sign him 2 years ago. But the primary focus is Tampa Bay, Dallas, and Minnesota. And just imagine the storyline if a reunion with the Lightning somehow materialized. That said, the sense around the league is that a potential move feels more likely in the summer rather than at the deadline. Still, brace yourself. This is not being dismissed outright. Now to Vancouver. We're at that time of year when players being held out of the lineup usually signals something is close. That happened with Tyler Myers, and naturally speculation exploded. Chris Johnston says this is a unique case. Like Stamkos, Myers has a no-move clause. He has significant control. A trade framework was presented to him this week, to the Detroit Red Wings. But at this point, Detroit may not be a destination Myers is eager to accept. That doesn't mean he won't move. There's still time. The Dallas Stars are believed to have interest, and that could be a preferred landing spot if it becomes viable. So right now, the pressure is on Vancouver management to craft a deal compelling enough for Myers to waive. Until then, it's a waiting game. And make no mistake, the Canucks are focused on the June draft. This is a rebuild. They're listening on almost everything. Brock Boeser's name has surfaced, surprising, given he just signed a 7-year deal on July 1st. But if there's a fit that works for him and his family, he's open-minded. He's a proven playoff performer, which adds value. Jake DeBrusk has drawn interest. Elias Pettersson's situation has been discussed. But the most likely Canuck to move in the immediate future, Evander Kane. That could happen within days. Now to Toronto. The Leafs had a promising stretch before the Olympic break, but a 4-2 loss to Tampa felt deflating, and suddenly the conversation shifted toward selling. The team hasn't said it publicly, but internally there's recognition that selling is on the table. What determines how deep it goes? Market prices. There's no established fair value right now for many players. It's all supply and demand. Pending UFAs like Lawton and McMahon are obvious decisions, extend or move them. But what about players with term? Oliver Ekman-Larsson, Brandon Carlo, Max Domi. Veteran pieces the Leafs would consider moving, but only for the right return. They're not selling just to sell. Meanwhile, Florida faces a pivotal stretch. 5 games in 7 days could determine whether they're buyers or sellers. If they go 5-0 or even 4-1, they're right back in the Atlantic race and likely keep the roster intact. Anything short of that, they pivot. They have pending UFAs like AJ Greer and others. But here's the big name raising eyebrows, Sergei Bobrovsky. Kevin Weeks stirred conversation this week by noting Bobrovsky hasn't signed an extension. Could he be traded? Technically, yes, if Florida becomes a seller. Given his recent struggles, extension talks likely wait until the off-season. So if the Panthers stumble over this stretch, keep an eye on that situation. And finally, St. Louis. There's no waiting for next week's results there. They're out of it. So how deep does the fire sale go? Jordan Binnington hasn't generated much traction, somewhat surprising given his pedigree and Olympic performance. Captain Braden Schen's name surfaces almost every year. With the Blues in a rebuild, does he want to endure that process? That's a real question. The most traction right now surrounds veteran defenseman Justin Falk. If Tyler Myers moves, Falk becomes one of the most attractive right-shot defensemen available, alongside Rasmus Ristolainen in Philadelphia. The Olympic break compressed the calendar. The deadline feels like it's arriving at warp speed.